All right, so the anxiety thing started for me in high school. I don't want to get into the details of the situations, but there was a situation, particularly in high school, I first noticed it, a panic attack. It was pretty bad, but wasn't that bad compared to the other ones that I'm going to talk about later. And I took a year off from high school because I wanted to play baseball. I'm training for that. And then there were certain situations in games where the panic attacks were bad, right? But you're young, you figure it out. So I'm just moving on. I go to college. Not as bad because I didn't put as much pressure on myself in college. I remember a couple of sporting events. I felt it, but, not bad as the high school. So, once I got hired with the Mets, that's when all hell broke loose. I mean, the panic attacks were, deadly, it felt like. And they would happen. Something would come up each spring training, and it would just last the whole spring training, right? But there was one particular event where this I.A.E. program pretty much started. I was just sick of the panic attacks. I spent a whole off season saying, look, I'm going to figure this thing out. I went into everything I talk about in the I.A.E. program. I did it. We didn't do visualization. I didn't do journaling, but it's mostly the affirmations. I'll say that. Mostly the affirmations. And, maybe I did do a little visualization, but here's the key. I was doing things completely wrongly, right? Because I mentioned it in videos. Your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and, the visualization or your desire, right? So that whole off season, I'm telling myself, I am not scared. I am not fearful. I am not afraid. Everything negative, I just kept saying it to myself for a whole off season straight, barely came up for air, right? So I go through that. So it comes down to this meeting. Beginning of spring training, there's this big organizational meeting. The whole organization's in this room. Never felt so good about it. Confident, ready to kill. All I had to do was say my name. That's it. So they get about 2 people from me, right? My heart goes whoop, whoop. And next thing you know, I am drenched in sweat. I felt like my heart was beating in my throat. I never felt a panic attack like this before, and I had plenty of them. Nothing like this. So I'm freaking out at this point. There's a door like right next to me, and I'm thinking, do I need to go outside? Because like the sweat was I was just drenched in sweat. So I had a new symptom. And this would just put me over the edge. All of a sudden, it felt like somebody had a knife that's just sticking and grinding in my stomach. I never experienced that before. And I started getting nauseous, right? All this is going on, and nothing ever happened. Nothing happened. And so I go outside the door, literally collapse on the floor. Stomach killing me in knots. Now, here's when I knew it was all in my head. In the next room, I hear not even me, my body hears the meeting end. Everything shuts down. I'm talking about the sweat evaporated like that. It was insane. The pain in the stomach, gone. Everything just vanished. And that's when I just said, look, this thing is 100% in my head. I got to keep digging. And again, that's pretty much the foundation of the I.A.E. program, because it took me into Chinese medicine. It took me into the 5-element theory. I learned how certain emotions are associated with certain organs, fear, kidney. I can go on about that. But that, like I said, that was where the program really started on that day. And been working it ever since. I'm in a closed networking group. It's called Power Core, and I have to stand up once a week at least and speak. And for the first time, and it happened recently, there's no more physical reactions. It's to the point where I'm over it now, but when this started happening, I would almost look for some type of reaction. It is not there. It's the best feeling. So I wanted to put this in a video because I know there are people out there that can relate to this, because everybody has anxiety. Don't let them fool you. People deal with it, differently, and there's different levels to it. Everyone has some form of anxiety. So if you can relate to this video, then this I.A.E course is for you. Thanks for your time.